In this video, I'm going to talk about spermatogenesis. And as far as the PowerPoint slides are concerned, I'm going a little bit backwards. So when we talk about spermatogenesis, we're talking about both mitosis and meiosis. So if you remember back from Anatomy Physiology 1, when you discussed cellular division, you should have learned about mitosis and meiosis. So mitosis is the normal cellular division that occurs in order for growth and repair to happen. So you can see the reason at the top of the table here. You can see the reason for conducting cell division is for mitosis is for growth, repair, and maintenance of body cells. So it's just normal cellular division that takes place. All somatic cells, you can see the type of cell undergoing division here, all somatic cells of the human body, so all body cells will undergo mitosis. Whereas in meiosis, there is a specific function. There's only one function of meiosis, and that is to form the gametes. So in males, that would be the sperm, and in the females, that would be the ova or the eggs. So this process of meiosis will only occur in the sex cells. So those are differences between meiosis and mitosis. Meiosis only happens in the gametes, the sex cells, and it's to produce more sex cells, whereas mitosis happens in all body cells other than the sex cells, and it's for normal repair and maintenance and growth to occur. The number of cellular divisions in mitosis, there's only going to be one, and this is really nuclear. We're talking about a nuclear division, so only one nuclear division in mitosis, and in meiosis, there's going to be two. Synapsis of homologous chromosomes. So this is talking about so you get you get chromosomes from your mom, you get chromosomes from your dad, and there's corresponding chromosomes for different traits. So, like for example, eye color. You know, my dad has brown eyes, my mother had green eyes, and so there's going to be corresponding chromosomes for that come from the mom and that come from the dad. And during meiosis, synapsis of those chromosomes will occur. So, like when my mom produced the egg that ended up being fertilized to make me, only one gene for eye color was going to be on that chromosome. And the same for my dad when the sperm was made. But then when those came together, that is what causes my eye color. So synapsis of homologous chromosomes, we do not see that in mitosis, but yes, we do see that in meiosis. And that's one of the things that causes such diversity. And, you can have 8 siblings and everybody look differently. And one of the reasons why is because synapsis of homologous chromosomes takes place during meiosis, during sex cell formation. The number of daughter cells that are produced. In mitosis, you're going to have 2 identical, well, if I can get this without, identical daughter cells are formed in mitosis. Whereas in meiosis, you're going to have 4 daughter cells. Specifically in spermatogenesis, you're going to have spermatids, and they're all going to be genetically different. So all are genetically different. Number of chromosomes in each daughter cell. Well, in mitosis, the daughter cells are identical to the original cell. So the original cell had 46 chromosomes, and the daughter cells will have 46 identical chromosomes. In spermatogenesis and oogenesis, the daughter cells are haploid. They only contain 23 chromosomes. So the daughter cells will not be identical to the original cell in that case. And then the comparison of the daughter cells to the mother cell. So we already mentioned this, genetically identical in mitosis. The daughter cells are genetically identical to the mother cell, and they are genetically identical to one another. In meiosis, the daughter cells will be genetically different from the mother cells, and they will be genetically different from each other. Okay, so those are some major comparisons between mitosis and meiosis. And then here's just another comparing the two. So in the sort of yellowish beige on the top of this slide and on the bottom table here, that is depicting meiosis, whereas the blue is depicting mitosis. So both, if you look at the bottom here, this bottom table, both mitosis and meiosis will occur in the S phase of interphase. So this is in the replication phase of interphase, sort of the if you go back to the cell cycle, you have the cellular division phase, and then you have interphase, and so the the cellular division will take place in this S phase of interphase as far as the cell cycle is concerned, and that's true for both mitosis and meiosis. A synapsis, we already said on the previous slide that synapsis of homologous chromosomes does not occur in mitosis, but it does occur during meiosis, and specifically it will occur during prophase 1. Okay, in prophase 1, remember, meiosis, you have two nuclear divisions. So if you remember the stages of mitosis, prophase, metaphase, anaphase, telophase, in meiosis, you have those phases as well, but they're just in two iterations. So you have prophase 1 and prophase 2, metaphase 1 and metaphase 2. So synapsis of homologous chromosomes will take place during prophase 1 of meiosis. And then crossover. Crossover is where those specific areas on the chromosome can sort of jump around. I'm not going to go into a whole lot of detail. This is something that should have been taught in general biology and perhaps in Anatomy and Physiology 1. But crossover is another thing that occurs during meiosis that will allow for great genetic diversity. So again, if you have a big family with a lot of siblings, y'all are all going to be different. And one of the reasons why is going to be crossover takes place during prophase 1 of meiosis. Homologous chromosomes line up at the metaphase plate, so the middle of the cell. That happens during metaphase 1 of meiosis. And that does not occur. You do see chromosomes lining up on the plate during on the equator of the cell during mitosis, but we're not talking about homologous chromosomes. Homologous chromosomes, we see that in meiosis. Sister chromatids line up at the metaphase plate. That happens in meiosis during metaphase 2, and this is where they line up on the equator of the cell in mitosis. So we see those sister chromatids lining up at the metaphase plate. And then the outcome. So the outcome is that in meiosis we have 4 haploid cells, so they contain half the number of chromosomes from the original mother cell. And they are genetically different from one another. So they're genetically different from the mother cell, and they're genetically different from one another. And then in mitosis, we end up with 2 diploid cells at the end of mitosis. They're genetically identical to one another, and they are genetically identical to the mother cell. So in spermatogenesis, so we do see mitosis occurring. So up here, so we have these germ cells or stem cells that are called spermatogonium. Spermatogonium is singular, spermatogonia is plural. These are in the seminiferous tubules, towards the outside of the seminiferous tubule in the testes of the male. So what we're looking at in this micrograph on the slide, we're looking at one seminiferous tubule, okay? So one seminiferous tubule, and towards the outside of the seminiferous tubule, that is where you're going to see the spermatogonia, and they undergo mitosis. So you have prophase, metaphase, anaphase, telophase, and what you end up with, those primary spermatocytes, they're going to be genetically identical to the spermatogonia. So you end up with two primary spermatocytes for every one spermatogonium, and they are diploid. So both are diploid, and identical, okay? Then the primary spermatocyte is what will undergo meiosis. So here is where we go from a diploid state to a haploid state. So in meiosis 1, we end up with two of the secondary spermatocytes. So here we end up with, because we are undergoing meiosis, the secondary spermatocytes are going to be haploid. And as this is occurring, you can see we are moving towards the inside of the tube. Okay, so the spermatogonia are on the outermost edge. Let me get a different color of pen. I'll get blue here. And then as we undergo mitosis and then meiosis, so the primary spermatocytes, you can see they're a little bit closer towards the center of the tubule, and then the primary spermatocytes will undergo meiosis, and at the end of that, so you have, remember with meiosis, you have meiosis 1 and you have meiosis 2, okay? So meiosis 1 occurs, then meiosis 2, and meiosis 2, we end up with 4 genetically different spermatids. And you can see here the early spermatids, and they are towards the center of that tubule. And they will break away and go into the center of the tubule, and then they can travel through that tubule system within the testes. Okay, and there's actually 3 sort of stages that are taking place for sperm formation. So we have first mitosis of the spermatogonia. Then we have meiosis, the meiosis 1 and meiosis 2, from the primary spermatocytes to the secondary spermatocytes to the spermatids. So meiosis occurs. So we're going from primary, I'm going to, 1 degree is my my shortcut for primary. So primary spermatocytes to secondary spermatocytes, and that's during meiosis 1. And then the secondary spermatocytes will go to the spermatids. Okay, so that process is meiosis. And then the third process, so those spermatids are immature sperm. They don't have the functional flagellum. They still have cytoplasm that's surrounding them. They don't have the typical head and midpiece and tailpiece that we associate with the sperm. In order for us to get from the spermatids to the mature spermatozoa, there has to be a process called spermiogenesis. And I'm going to have to end this because it's at 15 minutes.